All right, everybody, what is going on? Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well. And we've got some more edge rushers to take a look at here. Still in that second round range of things, looking at some guys that are projected to be late second round picks. Starting with Derrick Moore of the Michigan Wolverines, 23 years old, decent size, not huge or anything, but pretty decent size, 6'4, 255 pounds, which isn't huge or anything, but it's kind of normal for a typical edge rusher. Decent length as well, so pretty good frame, pretty good body. Most of the big boards put him in that late second, early third range. I think CBS is the one outlier. They have him in the late third, and the aggregate puts him in the late second. Had a real nice year last year, breakout year for him, 10 sacks, 10 and a half tackles for loss, 41 total pressures, almost a 90 PFF grade. Year before that, he actually had basically the same number of pressures, but not nearly as much production. So he definitely took strides in a positive direction, becoming a really reliable pass rusher. So the things with Derrick Moore to understand, he's got the quickness out of his stance. His first step quickness is really good. He's good at putting tackles on their back foot. He's got some legitimate pass rush moves that he can pair with that first step quickness to find ways to win. He can beat tackles with just pure speed, or he can set them up with his speed and then win with a move. He's a fluid mover in space. He's a good athlete, so I think he'll be able to do stand-up stuff, play coverage. Not worried about any of that. Pretty good explosion. He's got good pop into contact as well. Hits hard. And it seems like he's a pretty cerebral football player with how he sizes things up and understands where and when to attack. So I think he's also a pretty sharp player. Now, as of right now, I do view him as something of a one-dimensional pass rusher, and there is definitely a place in the world for players like that, but right now he's not a great run defender. He's not somebody that's going to shed blocks very efficiently. He doesn't have that game yet. He's also not a great tackler. Sometimes he'll kind of bounce off the quarterback in the backfield. He'll have a sack lined up and then just miss it. And there is some concern that he will take run plays off. Like, it feels like he's not quite as invested on run plays compared to dropbacks where he gets to rush the quarterback. And other than the last couple years, he doesn't have a ton of collegiate experience, so this will be a work in progress. I do think some of the things can be fixed. That doesn't mean they will be fixed. So Derrick Moore, I don't know if he's a Mike McDonald kind of guy. That's a little bit hard for me to tell right now. If he's not willing to play the run, that's a little bit tough. But even in a Mike McDonald defense, you can have edges that don't play the run ferociously. And he can improve quickly because he didn't play a ton in college. So I don't mind this. I think he can figure it out. I think he can become a pretty good all-around player. I believe that he needs time, like a lot of these edge rushers do, let's be real. And at the very least, you're getting a good speed rusher. So middle second round pick, I would put him there. And if he's there at 64, I'm going to take the risk. I don't completely love it. I can't guarantee it's going to work, but I like him a little bit more than the typical prognosticator, I think. Okay, next up we have Malachi Lawrence of the UCF, Central Florida. Couldn't find his age. This is one of the big winners of the Combine from 2026. He's got good size, not great size, but he's over 250, 6'4", decent length, 33 and 5/8, and his testing numbers were off the charts. 4.52, 1.59 split, so that's phenomenal. 40-inch vert, 10-foot, 10-inch broad. So some of the best explosion numbers you're going to ever find for an edge. The guy has elite athleticism. And unlike some of the other guys that have insanely good 40s and 10-yard splits, he's not like 235. He's not James Pierce Jr. So we've got some second-round grades. We got some third-round grades. The aggregate puts him in the back end of the second round. And he's a riser in recent times. So he's kind of going to keep going up, it feels like. Maybe he's starting to cap out at about back end of the second, but don't be shocked if he ends up creeping up beyond that because his combine was so good. He didn't produce a ton in college, but he did have a pretty good year last year for UCF. 11 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, 40 pressures, good PFF grade. The year before that, it was more of a rotation thing, 15 tackles all season. But we're not really drafting Lawrence based off of production. We're drafting him based off traits, and his traits are insane. So, yeah, he was a big winner at the Combine this year. He's got size and length that you usually do not find with guys who test this well. Like, think about somebody like a Cassius Howell, who tested great, but he's light and he's got no length. So this guy kind of brings the other stuff to the table here. He's got a lot of real good pass rush moves in his bag. He's somebody that can whip out spins and rip throughs and swims and all kinds of fun stuff like that. He's got great hand usage to get by blockers, knows how to use his hands really well, already has a good understanding of that. And he's a high motor player. He's always giving good effort. He's always chasing plays down. He's always going until the whistle. So there's a lot to like with Malachi Lawrence, and I understand why this is not just a combine guy. This is a legitimately really fun prospect. And I know why a lot of Seahawks fans covet him. Now, as of right now, he's not a reliable run defender. He's not very stout against the run. Sometimes he can chase big plays to the detriment of the defensive integrity. He can go for his own numbers rather than playing the way he needs to play within the defense that he's been given. He didn't have great competition he dealt with at UCF, so against better tackles, how will his game translate? It's not clear. And he's not really a power edge, so winning with power, not necessarily his thing. And like we've said before, that is what Mike Macdonald seems to like. So I wouldn't call it a perfect fit, but there is a lot we don't know about Malachi Lawrence because he's a little bit of a late bloomer. So crazy good upside. I think his issues can be fixed with good coaching, which we have. So this is going to be one of those ones where I just kind of throw the dice out there and hope it works out. I'd go early second. I think he's an early second caliber player in this draft. I know that's bold, but you can't tell me he's a worse prospect than Cassius Howell. If you put those two guys next to each other and ask me which one would I rather spend an early second round pick on, it's going to be Malachi Lawrence at this point. Okay, so that is Malachi Lawrence. We got one more guy for this video. It's Dani Dennis-Sutton of Penn State, the Nittany Lions. So Dennis-Sutton, we've been talking about him for a couple years now. He did not have the big breakout that some people were anticipating, but as I looked at this guy, I found myself kind of into it. 22 years old, big size, at least height-wise. He's decently well built. But the thing that could excite you is that he has a frame to add more weight. So I do think that there is a hold on one second. Sorry about that. Had to sneeze. But Dennis-Sutton, decent size, not a huge body, but pretty good. Decent length as well. Works. Tested pretty well. Good 40, not a great 10-yard split, but monster vert, monster broad, really great 3-cone. So he's definitely going to benefit from that combine. The big boards, we got some thirds, we got some fourths, we've got a couple of actually that's it. Third and fourth, but the aggregate actually has him with the last pick of the second round. So looks like he's going to be a late second, early third guy, kind of like the guys we just talked about. Been productive the last 2 years for Penn State, but he never had that monster season. And some of that is because Penn State fell on their face this year. Harder to rush the passer when you're on a bad team. But look at these numbers. 8.5 sacks each of the last 2 years, 96 pressures total. That's really, really good. Good PFF grades. A lot of tackles for loss, a lot of tackles in general. There's some real production here for an edge rusher. So the main draw with Dennis-Sutton is he's really good against the run. He's very good at holding his ground. He's very good at not giving up space. He's very good at not getting leg driven out of the play. He knows how to work through traffic and blockers to get to the ball as well. He's not somebody that'll get stuck on a blocker. He does have some pass rush moves in his bag as well. It's not just all power or all speed. So he does have some moves. Played a lot in college. Should be, I don't want to say a finished product, but he should be pretty quick to pick things up. And I think he'll be good standing up or with his hand in the dirt. I think that he will be good flexibly. And I think pretty much any defense can find a place for a guy like Dennis-Sutton. Now, there was a time where Dennis-Sutton was supposed to be the next Micah Parsons. He was supposed to be the next high-end first-round edge rusher from Penn State. Didn't happen. So I think the air's out of the balloon a little bit here with him. He tested very well, but generally speaking, I didn't get the sense he was this athletic watching him on the football field. So you're going to have to proceed with caution a little bit here. Like, I don't know about his change of direction stuff matching the 6.93 cone. I don't know if I would say he's as explosive as these jumps indicate, so buyer beware. He's not a stellar pass rusher overall. I know the production's pretty good, but in terms of actually like quickly getting to the quarterback and putting on a lot of moves, it's mediocre, honestly. And the change of direction skills are questionable to an extent. He doesn't have a lot of bend, so getting around the corner on the outside as a speed guy, not great. And because he's so tall, he loses leverage a lot. Gonna have to do something about that. So overall, I was like, this is kind of a Mike McDonald guy. He's powerful, he's strong, he plays the run well. Maybe he's not the greatest pass rusher in the world, but that seems to be something that McDonald, I don't want to say prefers, but is something that he's willing to work with. As a middle day two guy, I actually kind of like this. And look, the testing, maybe he's more than what we think. Maybe he'll end up being more explosive than we currently give him credit for. Maybe Penn State just kind of, I don't know, nerfed him a little bit. They've done that before, right? They nerfed Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons didn't look anything like the player he ended up being in the NFL at Penn State. So maybe Dennis-Sutton is going to be the next Micah Parsons like that. So middle second rounder for me. I'm a fan. I actually found myself liking Dennis-Sutton the more I looked at him. All right, that's going to be it for this video. I will see you guys later today. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think of this group. And we got one more video to make today on edge rushers, and then we'll be swinging into tomorrow. And yeah, just moving on through this draft.